it was in the morning one day and we were getting ready to leave the house, and one of my kids asked for something and I was stressed out, and I remember just like yelling, and I kind of took a step back, and it was one of those moments of just like immediate like remorse and regret and a little bit of shame. And I just, why am I yelling? Why am I a yelling person? Why am I yelling at him for something that he just asked me to do? I don't want to be a yelling person. And I've done the apps. I've done so many apps. I've done some of the online courses, some of them about parenting, some of them about calming, things like that. So it's not something that was a one-time occurrence. It's also something that doesn't define my everyday.
Hey, Laura, thank you for joining me here today. How you doing?
Hi, Rochelle. Thanks. Great.
Good. I am so just eager to talk to you and excited for you to share your transformation that you've experienced just in becoming, having greater capacity for emotional attunement and regulation. And just, I'll let you, tell the wins that you've had. But if you can start, Laura, by just giving me just a snippet, like a little bit about your background and, what your life was like when we met, kind of your circumstance in terms of what was going on in your life and the challenges that you were looking to overcome. If you could just start there.
Yes. So when I met you, I was definitely searching for some solutions. I am a busy working mother of young children, and my husband and I work both outside the home quite a lot. And so I definitely have some overwhelm, stress, anxiety, realized through this program, some through this program, some before, some emotional regulation issues for myself that I've wanted to address. And a lot of that was present sort of in my home, in my interactions with my family and my children. And so that was a primary reason that I was looking for resources and support. I'm also in a sort of new life stage, age-wise right now, and just looking for additional support and resources, and really looking at prioritizing self-care so that I can be the best for myself and for my family and others in my life. So I was kind of on a bit of a journey thinking about what I could do for myself when I came across your program online. And I think the things that I was looking at probably drove your program to the top of the list for me. I'm clearly a candidate for the program. So I was, maybe a little bit skeptical, just as most of us can be. We buy so many things online today, and there are so many things that promise amazing results and are disappointing, after we purchase them. They either don't deliver, it's not the experience that was promised, it's not a good solution or a product, or we're just not the right fit. So I thought that what was being said in your ads and your content sounded really good. And I wanted desperately to believe it because it sounded so good, and it sounded like something I wanted to do and that I could benefit from. But I realized that it would be a commitment of time and of resources, and just an emotional commitment as well. So, but I was pleasantly surprised when you offered to have a call with me, and I got my husband involved, and he had a call with us to kind of hear the pitch for the program.
Yeah.
And then that call turned into like an hour-long call, and that was amazing. First of all, to be able to actually talk to a real person today in the world that we live in about anything. And I felt really good after that. And then we were, prayerful about it, and made the decision to do it. And I absolutely, it's been amazing.
It's just been Pleasure having you. Let me ask you, like, when you decided to make the call and you listened, and obviously, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, the algorithm knows what we're looking for. But when you listened to the masterclass and you decided to book the call, do you remember, was it just the accumulation of things, or was there any kind of thing that precipitated that? Like, you thought, no, this is something I am going to look to solve. Is there something that let you know? Is there a moment that you remember that you decided you want to do something different?
There was. It was not my finest moment, but I remember it was in the morning one day, and we were getting ready to leave the house, and one of my kids asked for something, and I was stressed out, and I remember just like yelling, and I kind of took a step back, and it was one of those moments of just like immediate like remorse and regret and a little bit of shame. And why am I yelling? Why am I a yelling person? Why am I yelling at him for something that he just asked me to do? I don't want to be a yelling person. And I've done the apps. I've done so many apps. I've done some of the online courses, some of them about parenting, some of them about calming, things like that. So it's not something that was a one-time occurrence. It's also something that doesn't define my everyday. We have a very, very loving home, a loving family, but definitely it was there. And so I just realized, enough. And, like I said, I'm in a different life stage now. We are busy, but we don't want busyness to define our lives. We are, I don't know, we're so invested in doing for others and how we can give back and how we can utilize and be the best stewards of our resources. And so I think just turning some of that inward, and realizing that I want that for myself, and I want that for my family and my kids too. And it's interesting because my son is also in some programming that is brain-based and deals with a lot of the same concepts that we work on in this program. Obviously, his is geared for children, but it's just had a whole also other level of deeper meaning, being able to go through this course and learn some of the principles and the way to relate to myself emotionally, and just some of the regulation strategies that we deal with. He's doing some of the same types of things in the conversations that he and I have. He's 8 years old, going to be 9 at the end of the summer. So, they're not incredibly deep conversations, but they are actually deep for the conversations that we've had to this point, just about our emotions, and when we have a tough day, like regulating ourselves and what that looks like, and strategies that we're using. And it's this whole other level of meaning that this program has brought to me and to my family and to my relationship with him. So.
Oh, I love that. I love that, Laura. When you think about those results, so like you're saying, deeper level connection and communication with your son, and I know I remember meeting with you and your husband on that strategy call, and you talking about that being a primary motivator, and that your kids, and I know you are a professional as well. And so tell me a little bit about some of those results as you, and congratulations to you too for the way you showed up, because I'm super glad that you chose us, and we'll talk about that in a minute, like why joyful and present. But every lady in the program, like, your results are earned, right? Like, we provide the process, but you have to show up, and you did show up definitely for yourself. And I'm so happy for your results. What would you say, in addition to like these deeper connections with your child and being able to, just your emotional regulation, not having those yelling moments, what else are some results that you've gotten in the program as a result of your work?
Yeah, I would say so many things. I mean, I can think of so many things right now. Some of them that seem really small, but that every win is a win, and we learn that in this program. So all the things you just touched on. So first of all, just being more attuned to my own sort of emotions and emotional processing and how that happens. And when I am triggered, just being curious about that and trying to not understand all of it, but trying to see when that's happening, why, how that feels, knowing something allows you to be able to address it. And so I know I'm talking a lot of program speak right now, but just even being more attuned to my own emotions, what may be causing those emotions or triggering those emotions, and then actual practical strategies for addressing those things, bringing myself through those things kind of on a daily basis. And then I've also noticed not being as triggered, through periods of time for things that would have triggered me before, or I get triggered, but it's not nearly to the level that I would have been before. And I recognize it almost immediately sometimes, but also much quicker. And I've actually had conversations with my husband about this, about how certain situations have gone, like now versus then. And, not taking it to the spiraling place and being in my head and just like working it over and over and over, but being able to really like either just stop it or work through it or set it aside and pick it back up later and not let it deter like myself for a day or like a longer period of time. And so I think it's the kind of day to day emotional regulation and management. It is, if I get to a situation like that, I can step away and have strategies to like bring myself back. And so I think, that's just part of the process, too, of just practice and being there. But so I've learned that, but then also just greater attunement in all my relationships. I mean, like I said, I'm having conversations with my son about things. I've been having conversations with my husband about things, not even things just directly related to myself and my emotions, but other people as they're going through things, not bringing it up in like a judgy or a teachy way, but just noticing and maybe helping other people kind of notice or be curious about those things as well. So I think it's brought a level of depth like to my understanding of just kind of all the relationships in my life. And sometimes it's appropriate to share and sometimes it's not. But even just like knowing things and having better clarity around things makes us feel more like peaceful and at ease. And I think I mentioned to you recently, like I was able to unplug for like the better part of a whole day, which has sometimes been hard for me to do if it's a typical work day. But I was with my kids because I didn't have care that day. And I stayed off the phone. We were together. We were kind of doing activities and then just having some resting time. And I was able to not be on the phone, be completely present with them. We had an amazing day. We love spending time together. And that would have been really hard for me before this program to do, even to the point of them being like, "Hey mom, why are you on your phone?" Like they're noticing, So I think things like that are coming easier for me to be more present and in the moment through my day to day. And that's a huge win. And that wasn't even something I was necessarily looking for when I joined this program. And so I think that's just one of the added benefits of doing some of these practices and making it a habit in your life is like, that's one of the things that's going to come from it is being able to be more present, like in your life.
Oh, I love that. Like slowing your nervous system down and, and that co-regulation for your kids. I know, because you came in already pretty educated about all of that, but that co-regulation for your kids that transforms their nervous system as well, helps their nervous system. And then I love your heart about wanting to connect other people to resources, like when you think of things that could help us, other people in your life. So I love that about you. Can you tell me like what went into your decision to choose Joyful and Present? Because I know, like I said, your husband was on the call with you. I know you'd been in other things, researched other things. What did make you decide on Joyful and Present? Because I know you were discerning about that.
Yeah, I think one of the main things was, my son is involved in the programming that's brain-based, and this was also brain-based, but this is different. Not just like first of all, there aren't very many true brain-based programs out there. And if they are, they're taking like one small piece of this and like making it the program. And I think that's the power of your program is that you're doing it sequentially. So like it's building upon itself. And I think, for those that aren't in the program, the part of the reason I think that there's maybe skepticism is because when you haven't done this before, it is a very new way of thinking about regulation, or even understanding that our bodies need this type of regulation is like a new concept for a lot of people. And so when you're hearing these things, it's like, oh, it can't be that. Like that doesn't make sense. Or like, I've heard of that. That's way out there. Like that's not going to do
Yeah.
anything for me. And I think those things get a bad rap because they're done like in either that's like an entire program, like just that one piece, or the people that are doing it may have the understanding to do it, but they're not providing enough like useful and practical tools to get started. And so even understanding like how to do it is out of reach for most people because it's so new to us. Thinking about mental health and emotional regulation and nervous system calming, all these things that truly impact our physiological, so that we can get to a state where we can do these higher level pieces of the program. So I think that's really important about your program, is that you teach every level and it builds upon itself. And so you've created this protocol that ensures that you can get enough proficiency at each thing before moving on. Also, that it's self-paced. However, it's not a DIY self-paced where you can ask a question and get an answer back on a computer and that's all the support that you can get. But like you're face to face on screens talking with people every single week, and not just you and the other coaches in the program, which is amazing, but also like the other people that are in the program. And so I think that has been more enriching than just doing it on my own, because I'm hearing all of these experiences. And yes, there's so many people in this program that are here for different reasons. Whether it's just overwhelm, stress, parenting situations like me, they may be going through some sort of grief from loss. They may have long-term like physical issues or sickness. They may have some abuse or mental, trauma, or something in there. So there's all these different reasons like why people are in this program, but the outcome is the same for everyone. But hearing everyone's like experiences and even like the shared stuff, because how you're doing it is the same regardless of why you're here. And so I think there's just so much. First of all, there's a sense of community. Anytime you're going through something and you see and you feel other people going through it with you, like adds this just complete like comfort and accountability. And it just creates this sense of camaraderie. And it like kind of like a sisterhood, there's women in this program. So there's that. And it's so non-judgmental. Like everyone is just coming as they are and like not bringing any sense of like, anything other than just complete like empathy and like understanding that everyone's here for growth, and that's it. And so I just think that there are similar concepts in this program that are presented in other places, but the way that it's done, the way that you've built it, the specific pieces of the strategies that you've chosen to bring in are very thoughtfully like curated here and done for a reason. And so it's not like other programs that talk about calming, that talk about emotional regulation, that it is different. It is very unique. And I have done a lot of the apps. I've done some of the courses. I've done the self-paced stuff. And I really believe that that is why this program is so successful, is because of the high touch nature with you as the founder, with the coaches, and with the other participants that adds all the depth here, and like the ability to ask questions like in real time and get answers and hear from other people.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you participate in that, because I always tell people we have curriculum, we have coaching, and we have community. And the curriculum itself is self-supportive, but the coaching and the community really helps ensure like not falling off track, just another layer of learning growth. And there's a lot about that really bypass the subconscious defense mechanisms. I mean, there's reasons for that, but I love that you chose to take advantage of that and really, pour yourself into all that's there, because we just have the best community. So I love it. And then, so I would say, you're saying that like engaging in the community and the coaching and getting that was really helpful to you in getting the results that you want. So what would you say to people who are wanting the results that you would get? Like if someone wanted to, join Joyful and Present and get the results that you have had, what advice would you have? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, if you're going to do it, I think you do a good job of screening on the front end as well. Like, I think there's a difference between saying that you want to do something and being ready to take action on it. So you can have an idea that something needs to change for a long time before you're actually like in your heart ready to do it. And so I think anybody that's in a place that you know that you need something, that you need some extra support right now, like this is a program that can benefit you, but you have to be willing to commit and do it. And it's not that much time. And it honestly, like, as you're doing these things, your body kind of starts craving like the sort of peace that you get from this, the understanding that you get. Like to me, I love being on the calls, and I actually probably listen to the replay. So all the calls are on replay so that you can access them anytime you want, which is amazing. So none of the content is being held from you. And I actually have more time in my schedule to go back and listen to those on my own. I still try to attend the calls because there's a value to being like in person, but it's just, you want to do it. So like the commitment is really only like 15 minutes a day for the practice of doing this. And that's not a lot of time in and of itself. But like the more that you do it, like I think the more that you want to do it, because you start understanding and you start seeing little wins and you start seeing movement. And then it becomes exciting. It's like any journey, like when you're on a weight loss journey and you start like seeing results, losing inches, losing pounds, it's like, it's energizing, it's invigorating, like, oh, I can do this. And it's the same with this program.
Yes, I love seeing people get that momentum when they start getting the wins, and it's just, yeah.
And if you get stuck, there's definitely support. This is not easy material. Like a lot of it takes time to work through because it's emotional, and it's things that, are underlying there. So it's things that you may not even realize are issues for you. But I would say, everybody just has that's why it's good that it's self-paced, because you can just go at your own pace with what you're comfortable with, but like pushing yourself and then having the support of everyone else that's going through it and talking about the strategies that they use is just, it's good. I think if you want something real and you want real results, like we all know that you have to like, you have to work for that. Like you have to put in the effort. Like nothing that's worthwhile is going to be like super easy, right? And so I think it's the same way with this. Like it's easy enough where there's anybody, like no matter your schedule, because we're all like, I'm busy. I don't want to be busy, but I'm busy. Like you can work it in, but like also like this is real. Like this is a real program, and the results are like, you can't just like manufacture this. Like it's real. It's done like in a really thoughtful way. And anyone that's questioning it all, like this is a group of women with so much faith, and everything that we talk about, is biblically sound. And Rochelle does a phenomenal job. The program does a phenomenal job of even just weaving in scripture to like everything that we do. And it's amazing how much scripture is around like our thoughts and our controlling our thoughts and the ability, and our bodies, and like just all of it is just, it adds another layer of depth to the spiritual life as well, I think, because of that. And I think too, like I was prayerful in the beginning, like before I started this program, that it was going to be like a real thing. And if I made this commitment, and I think I really quickly like had just this overwhelming peace that like this was from God. Like if I was praying to God for help and for a solution, and then I found this, like this was part of his plan for like helping me
Oh,
get through this in my life. Like it was this program. It was very much from God. And I have felt like that from almost like the first week that I joined. Like this is a real thing. And this is pointing me closer to him. And it's making me like better. And so I know that it was from him. And I would just say that for anyone that's like, is this going to help me? Like, if you put in the effort, it absolutely will help you. Like, it absolutely will help you.
I love that. I love you sharing that, Laura. And I just admire your faith and your willingness to take action and how you prioritize this for yourself and for the people in your life. So I'm privileged that we got to be the ones to help you. And is there anything else that you want to add? You've shared so much. Thank you. But is there anything else?
Yeah, no, I just love it. I mean, it's definitely changed my life. And I'm just thankful that God sort of opened this opportunity to me. It was the right time and I was in the right place to hear and to discern and to take action on it. And if you have a nudge, anybody that's watching in that area, like you absolutely will not regret being a part of this community. Like I'm in this community right now. Like I've passed my sort of 3-month mark and I'm still in the community and I will probably be in the community for a while. I don't know when, but I really love it. Like it's like a really great like part of my life. I really enjoy like talking to these women on a regular basis and being a part of the community online and just learning from them. And it's just such a support and an encouragement. Like it really is. It just beyond like my own mental health. Like it's just such a great community. Like it's just so
Wow.
supportive. I love it.
Well, I love that too. And I might just try to nudge you to come to our live retreat so I can give you a hug in person. So, well, thanks for being here, Laura. I really appreciate it. I'm super happy to have gotten to work with you and see your fabulous results.
Thanks, Rochelle.
Okay, bye.